Welcome back to the Sad Boy Cinema Club podcast. My name is Austin. His name is AJ. Join us as you try to find purpose and hope in America's true pastime. Watching some good old-fashioned movies. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. Today, we are talking about the much-anticipated sequel of the Power Rangers movie, Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, released in 1997, directed by David Winning and Shirky Levy, written by Shirky Levy and Shel Davidson, starring Jason David Frank, Catherine Sutherland, Johnny Young Bosch, Nakia Bursay, Steve Cardenas, Austin St. John, Amy Jo Johnson, Blake Foster, and Hillary Shepard Turner. And of course, the guy behind the camera, the cinematographer, is Alon Rosenberg. There's a couple of things that I want to get to right off the bat here. So this is a sequel. However, a lot of things have happened from the last time that we left our Rainbow Colored Warriors to now. Depending on how long this explanation goes, this may be just for you, just so you can be caught up. At the Power Rangers movie, canonically isn't canon. However, it does take place in between seasons 2 and 3 of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So in between those seasons, we have season 3 of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a little mini-series of Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, Power Rangers Zeo, and now here we are at Power Rangers Turbo. So let me give you a quick rundown of all the things that you need to know. This is a very loose, very quick, very Cliff Notes kind of version of the events. The first thing is that we meet a girl named Kat. That's really important because that's who our Pink Ranger is. And do you recall in the Power Rangers movie how the Power Rangers got their ninja powers?
From that lady?
Yes, by Dulcia.
Yeah.
That is non-canon. In canon, They get it from a guy named Ninjor. Okay, so both of those are really important here because Ninjor, this is at the end of Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Ninjor is kidnapped by Zed and Rita, and they want Kat by the end of the day. And if they don't get Kat, they'll kill Ninjor. Also, just for you, I also know that you inquired about this last time. At this point, at the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Zed and Rita are officially together. We've made it. We've got past the bad stages. They're shipping forever. Spoiler alert. We're able to get Ninjor and Kat back at the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Kat replaces Kimberly, Amy Jo Johnson, as the Pink Ranger. In real life, she just wanted to pursue other acting gigs. More importantly, they wanted to be a part of union-based shows. In the world, though, in the Power Rangers world building, she goes to and becomes like a world-class gymnast. She transfers her power coin to Kat, and Kat's the new Pink Ranger. Now here's where it gets good. It's like, let's call it midway through season 3 when that change happens. The Rangers catch wind of a guy named Master Vile, who is Rita Repulsa and, new character alert, Rito Repulso's father, and he's a super badass. He has the ability to turn back time, to cause like a ton of havoc. They catch wind of him trying to catch and steal these things called Zeo crystals, very powerful entities in the Power Rangers universe. The Rangers decide to steal it first and scatter its remains across time and space. Seems like a good idea in theory. However, Goldar manages to collect all of their power coins, the Power Rangers power coins, destroy them. At the exact same time, Master Vile turns back time like 10 years or so that these teenagers with attitude are now 8-year-olds with attitude, and they can't morph anymore because they're not connected to the morphing grid. That's how we get the help of the Alien Rangers. I know this is very convoluted, but I didn't write this shit. That's how we get the help of the Alien Rangers. Zordon contacts these group of Rangers from a planet called Aquitar. It's a planet made of water, and they sound like they're underwater when they're talking. It was super annoying watching it. After we get the help of the Alien Rangers, it's again, I said it's a 10 episode miniseries. Shocker. Good wins out. We're able to get the Zeo crystals back. Not before the command center is destroyed, though. And again, I told you last time, destroying the command center is a very central theme in the Power Rangers universe. So the command center is destroyed. We think the Zeo crystals are gone forever. However, they're in the rubble. They find it. They're split into 5 crystals. You get 5 new Power Rangers. Tommy, I should say, I was going to call him by his real name. Tommy's the Red Ranger. Rocky, the former Red Ranger, is the Blue Ranger. Adam is now the green Zeo Ranger. Tanya is the Yellow Ranger, and Kat is the pink Zeo Ranger. Okay, so now we're in Power Ranger Zeo. And nothing really happens in Zeo. Like, it's perfectly fine. I actually think that it's pretty decent as far as a TV show is concerned. But as far as canon goes, nothing important happens for this movie. So much like the original Power Rangers movie, we start off with this very Star Wars-esque scroll. And it's talking about this guy named Larigo, who's a powerful wizard and holds the key to a gateway to the universe. And this villain, Divatox, wants to hunt him down, get the key, marry an entity called Malagor, an all-powerful demon, and terrorize the galaxy. The first real shot of the movie, we see a bunch of hunters with crossbows take aim at this creature, who we learn later is Larigo. They miss. They start chasing after him. Larigo uses his magic to escape from being captured and makes his way to Earth. On Earth, Tommy, Adam, and Rocky are sparring in this ring. They are gearing up for a martial arts tournament, and they're trying to win prize money to help save a shelter in the town of Angel Grove. Kat and Tanya are on a bus on the way to the martial arts tournament, and Kat checks in on this kid named Justin, who seems to be having just a really hard time. And, who isn't? Am I right? Kat and Tanya make their way to this arena, and they see that the others are, like, sparring a little bit. Rocky's having an issue with his kick that he's trying to land, and he overexerts himself. He flips over the ring, and for those just listening to us, think of a boxing ring. Yeah, he flips over the boxing ring on like a spinning back kick, lands back first onto the concrete, and of course is in like very serious pain. Everybody goes over and tries to like check on him, but the paramedics get there really quickly, and Rocky is taken out onto the stretcher to go to the hospital.
As a Power Ranger, wouldn't you expect he'd be able to have better control of his body, at least? Because they're all the time just doing weird shit with their hands and throwing kicks and karate chops. I would imagine someplace like a boxing ring, yeah, you would be able to control your body a little better.
Yeah, you would think that, but they're also 18 years old. Those damn teenagers. They don't know shit. After we take Rocky to the hospital, we finally get to meet Divatox and her henchman, Elgar, which is the one with a pointy thing behind him. This is for you.
Like Egghead?
The Egghead is Elgar, and Rygorg is the big cylindrical, like a big spherical guy. And they come up with a plan to get Larigo to come to them rather than them chasing down Larigo. Larigo finally lands on Earth. And then we go to the command center, and Alpha, your favorite character from last time, and Zordon feel that Larigo is on Earth, and they start to search for him. Going back to the hospital now. Rocky was taken there, and he's in a neck brace now in the hospital bed. Justin goes to check on him, but he hears some other people coming in behind him. So, like any normal person would do, you hide under their bed in the hospital. Tommy, Adam, I should actually back up. Justin is 8, 9 years old, maybe. After the other Rangers come in, Tommy, Adam, Kat, and Tanya stop by to see. They tell Rocky that Justin is taking it pretty hard, the injury to Rocky, because he's also had to go through the loss of his mom, and his shelter that he's staying at may also not be open anymore if they don't get the correct funding. That's why everybody was trying to win the martial arts tournament.
You're about to be a homeless orphan, Justin.
So while Justin is under Rocky's bed, Zordon contacts the Rangers, asks them to head back to the command center, and Justin hears all of it and sees the 4 non-injured Rangers teleport. He is now one of the very few people in all of Power Rangers universe to even know who the Power Rangers are. At the command center, Zordon briefs the Rangers on where Larigo is, which is somewhere in Central Africa. Tommy and Kat decide to go on a rescue mission while Adam and Tanya stay behind. Back on the ne'er-do-wells side of things, Rygorg is able to locate Larigo on Earth. Divatox concocts this plan to lure 2 humans of purity and strength and use them as a trap to lure Larigo to them. Back in Africa, as Kat and Tommy land, Adam and Tanya are alerted of this spacecraft that just entered Earth's orbit, and Zordon says that they can't really tell what it is, but because Larigo is on Earth, a lot of bad things are probably about to happen, so it's very important that we get to the bottom of this. We also get to see our lovable doofs, Bulk and Skull, abducted by an alien spacecraft. Back with Tommy and Kat, They're searching through this jungle, and they take literally just a second to rest. A snake starts to descend on Kat. She's able to escape, but nearly falls to her death over like a cliff onto a body of water. And Tommy is attempting to fight this snake. Kat's like hanging on for dear life on this limb from a tree. It eventually breaks. She starts falling. She tries to morph before hitting the water. However, the transformation isn't complete in time. Tommy's able to get away from the snake and jumps into the water to save Kat.
Wouldn't Tommy have got hurt too?
Not the Power Ranger. I don't think so.
Maybe a lesser Power Ranger.
Because you see, Kat, like an idiot, just fell. Tommy did a cool front flip into the water, so he's perfectly fine. It is a close one, but our hero Tommy saves Kat. Again, the transformation wasn't complete all the way. It starts from the top down, from the head down. Literally only in this one scenario. It doesn't happen that way in Zeo, just for this one scene that it comes from the head down. Because the legs will last, Kat has a leg injury. Back on the evil doer's ship, Elgar is the one who kidnapped Vulcan Skull, and Divatox isn't very pleased with the decision. If only she actually got to spend time with Vulcan Skull, she would realize how displeased that she was about the whole thing. Here, as I'm reading this out loud for the first time in my notes, very much like the first Power Rangers movie, a lot of quick back and forth. Bing, 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 bing. Never staying too long in one place. So that's got something going for it. Tommy and Kat are able to find Lerigo surrounded by a family of monkeys, which is very cute because he very much does look like a monkey. Tommy introduces himself, but Lerigo sees that Kat is in distress. He comes over, heals Kat with a wave of his hand. The heat of Africa and Earth in general, good thing the Earth hasn't gotten any hotter since the 90s, am I right? The heat starts to take a toll on Lerigo, so Kat lets Alpha know that they're ready to be transported back to the command center.
To me, Lerigo, are you familiar with Labubus?
I am familiar with Labubus. Yeah.
He looks like a hillbilly Labubu. And that's the only thing I can see when I see him. Like, I just imagine, like, banjo's playing, and whenever he talks, he'd be like, well, hey, folks, how are y'all?
Yeah, that's honestly probably a pretty good shout. Divatox is able to find two humans scuba diving and kidnap them for her master plan. It's also revealed that Divatox has some family members of Lerigo. Yara, who it's never like confirmed as his wife or like love interest or whatever, but we can allude to it, and also little baby children of Lerigo's apparently. Divatox reaches out to Zordon to make her demands and reveals that she's actually kidnapped Kimberly and Jason, the former pink and red Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So the plot really thickens here. Back at the command center, Zordon tells the Rangers that he believes that Divatox is planning to use Lerigo's golden key to pass through this thing called the Nemesis Triangle to head to an island to meet up with Malagor. And I did not know that it was called the Nemesis Triangle until rewatching it this time. I always just thought they were talking about the Bermuda Triangle. That's obviously what they were alluding to.
Right.
But
must have been copyrighted.
Yeah, I don't know who would have copyrighted the whole Bermuda Triangle.
We can't swing this in the budget. Rename it. They're kids. They won't know.
The Rangers decide to meet up with Elgar to make a trade. Lerigo for Kimberly and Jason. The Rangers don't really have a good feeling about it for obviously a good reason. They've dealt with a lot of evil in their days as a Power Ranger. But before they could even come up with a plan, Lerigo sacrifices himself into Elgar's command. Elgar and some of the henchmen leave, and they leave behind hostages. But after further inspection, they're just fakes, and the Rangers have been fooled. You stupid-ass teenagers.
To me, this whole trade scenario makes me think of real-life situation where we traded the Death Merchant, the AKA looks like Dale Earnhardt for Brittany Griner. Like, it's like, hey, we've got this really, like, kick-ass entity that is kind of, I guess the only way that doesn't work out is the fact that we weren't holding him in prison. So, but that's what it instantly made me think of. And again, these are Power Rangers, so you would imagine that they would be smarter. Like, I mean, I know they're teenagers or whatever, but like, they're these badass, world-saving, universe-saving, crime-fighting, evildoer, destroying people, and they get fooled in the dumbest ways.
Well, you can't have them too smart. You know, you got to keep them right at the right amount of dumb so you can control them. Zordon, very much like the government here. Zordon And the Rangers decide that they need more firepower to handle this new evil entity. So they create new Turbo Zords to pass through the Nemesis Triangle. Before I go on, I have to know what that was about.
It's so fucking dumb. Hey, kids like fast cars. Let's make them a car, and let's give them like it just makes me think of Fast and Furious and like a combo of Fast and Furious and Never Back Down. So I see why this was a movie that you love.
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me, obviously.
We can end it right here.
So they decide to make these new Zords, and obviously they get new suits as well. Also, they use a new theme song, which I think personally rips. I know that your bag is not very deep as far as the Power Rangers theme song goes. I think that Power Rangers Turbo is pretty good. Briefly, back at the command center, we hear Zordon talking to this mysterious figure that's donning a new blue turbo suit and welcoming them to the team. Our 4 Rangers arrive at this dock to discover a ship. Before they can board, the Blue Mountain Blaster pulls up, and Justin from earlier hops out. He reveals that Zordon has picked him to be the new Blue Power Ranger, and the others are less than pleased. They don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it, so they board the ship. How did you, as, I don't even want to call you a neutral participant in this, how did you, as a Power Ranger skeptic, feel about an 8-year-old being a Power Ranger instead of the 17, 18-year-olds that we have been used to?
So for me, it was dumb. Like, honestly, like, you're telling me there's no other hang-arounds that Zordon could have picked, because, and in continuity too, because we see Justin as a Blue Ranger, and he's just as tall as the rest of the Power Rangers. If you put an 8-year-old there who's obviously not as tall, make the Power Ranger be that short.
That's the power of the turbo powers, though. They elongate you.
They turbocharge him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you're already normal size, too bad. If you're 5 feet tall, maybe
shoot up a little bit.
Sprout up a little bit.
Okay, well, see, I wasn't familiar with that game.
Are you familiar with Beetleborgs?
No. I was very much not. I was immune to the propaganda of Power Rangers and Beetleborgs growing up. I'm aware of what they are, but outside of that, aren't they just a ripoff of the Power Rangers?
So I do want to say all of this in defense of Blake Foster, who plays Justin in this movie and throughout Power Rangers Turbo. I think that he did as good of a job as you could possibly do given the scenario. He was dealt a very bad hand by Haim Saban, because Saban also owned Beetleborgs. It was doing pretty well, and their protagonists were all children. So he thought, well, Beetleborgs is doing pretty good. How about we just throw a kid as a Power Ranger? And to some level, I think I get it, right? When the show came out, you're 4, 5, 7 years old, maybe, watching this show. And instead of thinking I could be a Power Ranger when I grow up, 17, 18 years old, I could be a Power Ranger right now.
I could be a Beetleborg today.
I think that given the hand that he was dealt, he did perfectly fine. I'll have some other thoughts on it later, but this is what we're given. Not his fault. This is all Saban's fault. Not only were the Rangers pretty displeased, but a lot of the parents and the kids watching were also pretty displeased, and they've never done it again, as far as I know. That specific thing, having an actual child be a Power Ranger, never happened again. So after they get onto the ship, after some exploring, they realize that their Zord keys also control the ship, and they are ready to sail. The ship is autonomous. Thanks, Zordon. This is sick. I didn't know you had all this free time on your hands to just make pirate ships that we would eventually have to use. Divatox and her crew get notice of this ship that's approaching out on the water, and they send out these mysterious orbs to deal with it. As the night falls, the orbs attach themselves like barnacles onto the ship, and they start to grow like pretty rapidly. While Kat and Justin are having a little bit of a heart-to-heart, the orbs start to evolve into these gross, very gross monsters, and they start to attack Justin. The other Rangers join in, And they're able to throw these monsters overboard without their new powers, which is pretty sick. Jason and Kimberly, who, again, have been kidnapped, devise a plan to escape from Divatox's submarine by flooding their holding cell and swimming to the top. Very risky, but that's what Power Rangers do. They just take risks. This is unfortunately happening during the ship's passing through the Nemesis Triangle. The Rangers are also passing through at the same time, and Divatox tries to make Larigo use this key to open the gateway and so they can get to Malagor. He initially refuses, but Divatox threatened to hurt his family, so he finally agrees. As Divatox's ship is passing through this Nemesis Triangle, they realize that they've sprung a leak and the submarine is sinking. The Rangers are also passing through the same Nemesis Triangle, and they have to use their powers to actually get through. I don't know what they were trying to do with the Nemesis Triangle. Really, I don't know if the Bermuda Triangle has like these mystical entities. I've obviously never been there. Talking about the Bermuda Triangle, oh, if you go there, you'll die. We'll never see you again. I think they were just trying to put that kind of effect into the Nemesis Triangle and give some sort of peril and urgency into this movie. Didn't really do a lot for me. I'm just going to be honest, and I know how you feel about it. So I think we can both agree, now that we're at this point in the review, that the Power Rangers movie, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, is much better
infinitely
than what this one is so far and what will turn out to be. Back on Divatox's sub, Jason and Kimberly try to save Bulk and Skull, and again, that's the plan. They're trying to pull everybody out. They're trying to go through the hatch, swim up, no biggie. Bulk, Skull, and Kimberly manage to escape, but Jason is left behind after Elgar closes the emergency hatch.
Did it ever address why Bulk and Skull were talking and saying they were Antonio Banderas? And I don't remember what the other one said he was. There is a reason for that?
Yeah, so when they got dropped, they didn't do this for Kimberly and Jason.
Right.
But when they brought Bulk and Skull on, Elgar said that they scrambled their brains so they wouldn't remember anything.
Okay.
Why they were Antonio Banderas, I don't know. But it's funny, I guess. As Divatox is approaching an island, Rygord tells her that they've picked up a reading of 5 humans who've also made it through the triangle, which can only mean one thing. Divatox is pretty over it at this point and tries to make a call to an old friend, Rita Repulsa, for some advice. However, she doesn't really have any, since she lost and all. Seems like a pretty piss poor person to call in this scenario.
She's just laid up with her hubby now. Just listening to him snore.
It's a nice retirement life. Getting your ass handed to you every week by the Power Rangers and go, you know what? I call it quits. I'm done, actually.
We're going to ride off into the sunset.
Again, Kimberly, Bulk, and Skull have escaped. Kimberly washes up on shore and is taken away by some island people. Bulk and Skull get washed up on the same island, think that they're safe, but they also get taken away. Adam, Green Turbo Ranger, Adam, makes his way from the boat to the island with his Desert Thunder Zord. At the same time, Divatox sends 2 torpedoes toward the Rangers ship, causing it to explode and having the Rangers flee. They make it out just in time, though, because if you killed the Rangers at the 45-minute mark, wouldn't be a very good movie. Divatox and her crew also make their way to the island with prisoner Jason and Larigo and his family in tow. The bad guys get surrounded by these island people who have captured Kimberly. Divatox makes Larigo cast a spell, which frightens all the island people, and now they're subservient to her, which didn't make any sense to me, because why wouldn't you be subservient to the person who cast the spell? But whatever. Adam, remember, he's still on the island. Adam has done some recon and sees that Larigo is dying. He meets up with the other Rangers and says they have to do something. They're running out of time. The Rangers decide that it's time to get in gear. It's time to get in gear. And we have our first official morph sequence as the Turbo Rangers. Very cool, I think, given the special effects of the time. And we also get to see Justin shoot up about 9 inches. So that's pretty cool for him.
And drive.
He doesn't have to have a license to drive a Zord. He's going to be the fucking coolest 3rd grader in school. Divatox and Co. enter this cave, and they're prepared to make sacrifices to Malagor. Jason and Kimberly. The Rangers aren't that far behind them. A huge fight sequence breaks out, and while all this is going on, Divatox starts to lower Jason and Kimberly down into the volcano to feed Malagor. They are unfortunately lowered all the way down. Big explosion comes from the volcano entrance, and Kimberly and Jason reappear, but this time they're evil.
Sexy.
They're very evil. They are taken over by Malagor's presence. They are evil Power Rangers now without the power coins. Tommy tries to talk some sense into Kim, but he's cut off by Jason. Jason kind of starts kicking his ass and nearly throws Tommy into the volcano. This was the rant that I was going to tell you about earlier. It doesn't make sense why Jason was here at all, even though I want him to be. We'll get to that, what that means in a second. So this again, depending on how this goes, this may be just for you. Maybe this is a double exclusive lore drop for everybody who's listening. So Jason was the original Red Power Ranger. Tommy comes to the team late, originally as the Green Ranger. Then he has to go away because the Green Power coin is evaporated. It's used up. He comes back as the White Ranger. There's a huge arc in Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where Jason and Tommy are like battling each other, sort of, for like, who's the leader, who's head honcho, what are we doing here, right? So that goes on up until the point that Jason, the character, has to go to a peace conference. In other words, his character got written off because he wanted too much money. That's when we bring in Rocky, the second Mighty Morphin Power Ranger.
Who sucks?
He's not great. He's no Jason. And I don't think Jason's that good. But Rocky is definitely a step below, for sure. In Power Rangers Zeo, right at the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we go through Power Rangers Zeo. It's Tommy as the Red Ranger, Rocky as the Blue Ranger, Adam as the Green Ranger, Tanya as the Yellow Ranger, and Kat as the Pink Ranger. There's this theme throughout Power Rangers that's the sixth Ranger. And it started with Tommy being the sixth Power Ranger, being the Green Power Ranger. And most of the other Power Ranger series has included a sixth Ranger. Zeo had one, the Gold Zeo Ranger, which was Jason. So Jason's whole idea is that, we were going to surprise everybody by coming up. We just saw you. The last episode of Power Rangers Zeo is Jason having a problem with his power coin, like his ability to morph. And there's some more nerdy shit that I'm not going to get into because it's going to be super confusing, more than you probably already are. But we literally just saw Jason. It doesn't make sense for him to be here. But that does give a lot of credence as to why Jason doesn't like Tommy, because they've always had this little, like, friendly rivalry. They're friends, certainly, but not one time has there ever been a definitive, I'm head honcho, you're Robin, I'm Batman, anything like that. Because Jason was kicked off the show in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and in Zeo, Jason, as the Gold Ranger, just kind of marching to the beat of his own drum. Never really took any shit, never really took any direction from Tommy as a leader. So I feel like they could have done a better job. I think that this movie relies a lot on someone knowing the lore coming into it. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, you could do it as a standalone movie, lives by itself. You get everything you need. This one, you have to understand why Jason's even mad, or why he could be mad in the first place, and why this fight in particular is important, because we haven't seen it since Tommy was evil in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Fumbled there, Haim Saban. Just as it seems like it's too late, Larigo uses some of his powers, powered by like pure good and pure of heart and whatever else, turns Kimberly and Jason back into normal. Malagor, however, is on the rise. The Rangers take on Malagor, but he's just too tough. Everyone flees this cave, and the volcano starts to erupt. Malagor chases after the Rangers, and the Rangers make their getaway into their Zords. And once they get to like this clearing, they morph into the Turbo Megazord, which, as a fan and probably someone who had the Turbo Megazord as a toy, I like it. There are better Zords. I like this one. I like cars. Sue me. The Rangers duke it out with a fully grown Malagor, and of course, they come out on top. The volcano fully erupts, and everyone makes it off the island safely, even our bad guys. We end the movie with this martial arts tournament that Rocky and Tommy were preparing for, or that Rocky, Tommy, and Adam were preparing for. Jason steps in for the injured Rocky, which is really nice of him. They're fighting for a national championship and $25,000, which they win, and donate all those proceeds to the shelter that Justin's staying at. The good guys win again. And that is Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. So just overall, given everything that you know about Power Rangers, what did you think?
Listen, this movie fucking sucked. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way that I can be like polish this turd. It it was not. It took all the goodwill that was placed into me for Power Rangers from the first movie and shit it all over it. Like, there was none of this movie looked like was entertaining to me at all.
I'm not going to disagree. If you recall, at the end of our review of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, I said that the other Power Rangers movies were not good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the one in 2017 is perfectly fine. It's not like a masterpiece or anything. I think that I said that Turbo was bad. I think that Power Rangers Once and Forever is also not very good. So I said it then. I'll reiterate it here. Don't say I didn't warn you. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie was a one-hit wonder, in my opinion. I know that there probably weren't many, but what was your favorite part of this movie?
God, I don't even know if I could name a favorite part. I guess my favorite part would have to be when Rocky flips over the rope and breaks his back or whatever. So my favorite part would probably have to be Largo, and when he's like just hanging out in Africa with like the chimps and they're just walking around and it's just like, oh, thank you for bringing him here. It's like, imagine what those chimps, and I'm sure they were movie star chimps. Like, I'm sure they've been around movie sets and stuff like that. But imagine just like what the fuck is going in their brain, through their brains, like when they see this furry like honeycomb creature walk up to them, and then they've got to take it by the hand and walk it through a jungle. Like, that's what's really did it for me. I'm a sucker for monkeys.
There are a couple things that I would like to sit here and pretend like are my favorite. They refer to this movie as Power Rangers Turbo Episode 0 because Power Rangers Turbo Episode 1 is a direct recap story of this entire movie. They were using this as a bridge from Zeo to Turbo to bring the new audience on to, it's a transport vessel into the next season. I like that it's canon. I like Divatox as a villain. Malagor, the character design of Malagor is used again under a different name by Dark Spectre, who we'll see in the next season of Power Rangers in Space. Never mentions why the same character model is used. Never mentions Malagor again after this season, but whatever. There's a lot of things that I wish I could say are my favorite, but the real answer is Evil Kim. Doing a lot for me. Kim was my first crush growing up. As an adult, Evil Kim's doing it for me.
I liked casual Jason, like just walking around in basketball shorts and like a t-shirt. Like, that's my everyday style. So, and I get the Evil Kim love.
What was your least favorite thing out of the 10,000 things that you could give me? The worst of the worst.
Well, I talked about it earlier. The worst of the worst for me is the fact that when Justin becomes the Power Ranger substitute, he magically is the same height as the rest of the Power Rangers. Keep him small. Give it continuity. You wanted a kid as a Power Ranger Zordon, you've got to have a 3 foot tall Power Ranger. Like, that might have improved this movie for me.
So my least favorite thing, and I've had 2 very deep lore drops with you so far that I didn't know were going to make it just based on time. We were able to zoom through this movie because there's not a whole lot of substance. So we're at like the 40-minute mark on this like live recording. So I'm gonna open up a little bit. I had a different answer, but I'm gonna give you my real answer. My least favorite thing is that they did my boy Adam dirty, and they have since the jump. Adam comes in and replaces Zach as the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger. He is the Zeo Green Ranger as well, and now he's the Green Turbo Ranger. And essentially 3 full seasons. It's a season and a half of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all of Zeo, and then spoiler alert: he, Tommy, Kat, and Tanya leave midway through Power Rangers Turbo. They have an entirely new cast except for Justin. They've done my boy Adam dirty the entire time. In 3 seasons, 0 character development, Only thing that they have for him is funny one-liners like "I'm a frog" in the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
I just know what he's capable of, and Adam's Adam's one of my favorite Power Rangers ever. I mean, I've only watched up through Mystic Force, so I'm not like super ingrained in like everything, but he's up there for me for sure because there's an episode in Power Rangers in Space, which is my favorite season of all time, where Carlos, the Black in Space Ranger, accidentally hurts Cassie, the in space Pink Ranger, on a mission. He's like doubting himself as a Power Ranger, like doesn't know if he can do it anymore. How can I hurt my friend? Blah, blah, blah. Adam comes back to help him like work through this thing. He's like, everything's a chance. You have to like just risk it sometimes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You just got to take that chance. That's what being a Power Ranger is all about. In one episode where he's on screen for like 10 minutes of the 22-minute runtime, maybe, he had more character development and more passion than I had seen in him in the 3 seasons prior. I know that he's a good actor. I know that he has the ability. And the fact that I know that now and rewatching for this prep here, I watched 10 episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers toward the end. I watched all of the Alien Ranger series. I watched like 7 episodes of Zeo, and I watched a couple episodes of Turbo just so I could have all this knowledge going in. I watched all of that after already seeing the series however many years ago. Watching all of that again, seeing Adam be belittled and Johnny Young Bosch as an actor be underutilized is killing me because he's still part of the Power Rangers franchise. He's part of Space Patrol Alpha and like intergalactic shit. He has the ability to do it. They never did it though because they didn't believe in him. And that's a bunch of crap because if you're going to give Rocky, the Red Power Ranger, and a huge lead, like a huge speaking role and a bunch of stuff to do as the Blue Zeo Ranger, and don't give Adam anything, atrocious. I am going to parlay that in though into something that I would change. I was very clear of my respect and my admiration for Blake Foster as an actor. I don't think that this was his fault. I would change it though. I wouldn't have him as a Power Ranger. It just doesn't make any logical sense. I know that why Haim did it because of the Beetleborg success. I get it. What I would have done is have the exact same story beat happen. Rocky gets injured, can't do it anymore. Those 4 go off, and Zordon is talking to somebody else. I would have it be Jason as the blue Turbo Ranger, and I would also, in the cave, have Divatox somehow capture Jason as a blue Power Ranger, turn him evil, and then we have the fight between him and Tommy, because then it at least makes sense. Again, you have to rely on the narrative and the foreknowledge of the Power Ranger series, but you would finally get, okay, Tommy is the Red Ranger, that's the leader. You're blue, that's a clear demotion. So now there's conflict, there's infighting that has to go on. And then you play on all the history that they have. That story beat makes sense to me. And I know that I know that Austin St. John wanted to do it again because he kept coming back to the series. Just have him be the Blue Power Ranger. Again, Blake Foster, I respect you as an actor. You're on TikTok. If you somehow see this, we really do appreciate you. I just wouldn't have cast you in the movie.
And that's the thing, because you said he later comes back as the Blue Ranger when he gets moved up to high school, right?
So, yeah. So he's the Blue Ranger in this movie. He's the Blue Ranger through the entire series, even after the other 4 leave. So Justin is the only blue Turbo Ranger.
So what they could have done easily right there was be like, okay, he knows about the secret, so like he's a Power Ranger in waiting. Have him help Alpha and Zordon back at their command center. Like, have him do little shit like that. Have him learn from these Power Rangers. And I think you fix that. I think you just throwing him in there is, again, I get it, like, especially after you explained it to me with the Beetleborgs and everything. But yeah, that was a dumb move on, I believe.
So what would you change?
Everything. No, the pacing on this movie was terrible. I'm going to be honest, I watched the last 45 minutes on 2.5 speed on YouTube because I was just like, I got to get through this. There's no way I'm going to sit here. Like, because I would pause it and look at the time and I'm like, oh my God, how the hell is there this much time left? Like, the pacing was terrible. That's what I would fix. I think if you fix the pacing and chop out some of the non-essential things that were in this movie. But again, there's really not a lot of essential stuff that's in this movie, so I don't know what you would cut out. This would be just like an extended episode of the TV series. So yeah, I don't know. This probably shouldn't have been made into a movie.
You remember this feeling when you pick some Tubi Tuesday trash for us to watch on here. Just know that I have stuff in my bag too, all right?
You just brought piss to a shit fight. Just wait till next week.
I'm going to go ahead and answer this question for the both of us. The rewatch is going to be a hard no. I don't think that... Because Power Rangers Turbo Episode 1 is a direct recap of everything that has happened. Nothing else happens in that episode. It's a direct retelling. I don't think that it's necessary. I appreciate Haim, Saban and Saban Entertainment for their attempt at doing this like bridge crossover movie between the two seasons. I think that was a good idea. The execution just wasn't great. I do appreciate that they didn't do CGI though.
Yeah.
All it was practical. After seeing how bad it was in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, they just kind of like washed their hands of it. So of all the bad things that happened in this movie, good on you for that one, Haim. I know the answer to this. Rip the Band-Aid off. Would you give it on Letterboxd out of 5?
That's a 1.5 for me, dog.
I am not much higher than you. I gave it a 2.5 because I think that it is reflective of how I feel about Power Rangers Turbo as a series. I think it's fine. It's not going to be in my top 5. It's not going to be in my top 10. It's going to be toward the bottom. It's fine. There's nothing really more that I could say about it. And I tried to think about, like, after I got done watching it, right, and after we saw the success of the short form videos on Facebook and TikTok for the Power Rangers, I was kind of like in the mood, right? Just kind of like reminiscing about those times. I started thinking about my favorite Power Rangers superheroes. I started thinking about my favorite Power Rangers series and like who I would put on a team together. Nobody on Turbo's team, with the exception of Adam, but I don't count him as being part of Turbo. I count him as being part of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or Zeo. Nobody on that team in either iteration. Well, I guess that's not true either. Nobody on that team, by and large, would I put on my Power Ranger team. I just don't think that they were very good. The second Red Power Ranger, though, the second Red Turbo Ranger is a guy named TJ. Trailblazer, first of all, first Black Red Power Ranger. Big deal at the time, especially, I think it was like 98 maybe when they made the switch. So, I mean, that wasn't very common. I'm sure they got a lot of flack for it at the time, but that was huge. I love TJ. He was the blue in Space Ranger. I would definitely have the blue Space Ranger TJ on my team for sure. And I just, for all the good that I think that the Power Rangers universe has done and could have done, they just fumbled on this so hard that I can't give it any more than a on Letterboxd,
So do you think this was like a cash grab for them?
I don't think it was a cash grab because I don't think they made any money. I can't find the budget anywhere, but it did go to theaters. It made $9.6 million at the box office. And if the first movie is anything to go off of, they're already upside down on that budget. Like,
that's why there was no CGI in this one. Just couldn't afford it.
I appreciate the attempt, but ultimately not a very good success, in my opinion. We can't dwell on the bad forever, though. I'm going to toss it to you. Tell us what we're going to watch next week and where we can watch it.
So for this week's movie, we're going to watch Timeline. You can watch it on Pluto TV. You can watch it on Tubi. I think you can rent it on Amazon, but you can watch it for free on either Tubi or Pluto. So,
got a brief synopsis for me?
All right. So a quick rundown of Timeline. It's about a group of archaeologists that are in for the adventure of a lifetime as they must travel back to the 14th century France to save their professor.
I have been less interested in movies that you've suggested, so that's a pretty good start. Join us next week as we watch In Time. Follow us on all socials at Sadboy Cinema here on YouTube, obviously, but also TikTok and Twitter and our newly formed Facebook page. Also follow us on Letterboxd. We'll put our individual handles above our heads here. And if you don't have anything, I'll send us out of here.
Remember, it's okay to be naked in your house. If people have a problem with it and they're looking in and catch you naked, they're the ones committing a crime. They're the peeping toms, not you.
That's going to do it for me. That's going to do it for AJ. Be kind. Tell somebody you love them. See you in the next one. You're gonna have a hard time trying to do that. Might be time to look into a new